Hello, wrestling fans. I'm Drew Ebenhaus here with Lucky P. Larson, Esquire.
The manager of the SICW Tag Team Champions, the greatest tag team on God's green earth, the LA Hustlers.
We've got a great episode of action for you today. Your main event is going to be a six-man tag team match. The Big Texan, Bobby D, and Flash Flanagan will be taking on Peyton Ayers, Sean Vincent, and Glenn Williams. We're also going to see the Top Gun, one half of them anyway. Brandon Beretta will be in action. Big Joe Helms will be here. Yikes.
Ungrateful turncoat.
And we're going
piece of crap.
to hear some words from Stephen E. and Devastation Incorporated. That's all today. But now let's head right to the ring, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for our first match. Ladies and gentlemen, your opening contest set for one fall, 10-minute time limit. Introducing first from the State Hospital, weighing 303 pounds, he is the Intern. His opponent from St. Louis, Missouri, weighing 242 pounds, one half of the Top Gun's Brandon Beretta. Referee Bill Henson calls for the bell.
So, what am I going to ask here, Drew? Bite me. What am I going to ask here, Drew?
I don't know.
Who's got the weight advantage?
No, there you go. Math not your strong suit.
So, who has the weight advantage here? Bill Henson?
Better with words, not the numbers.
Bill Henson?
I think Bill's probably the lightest of the three.
Oh. So, who would have the weight advantage?
Well, I suspect it's the 300-pound man, wouldn't it?
Would that be the Intern?
That would be the Intern with the clubbing blow to the chest of Brandon Beretta. Look at the look on his face, man.
You know, it occurred to me, though, as we were talking last week.
Beretta with a bunch of steam. Look at that, just crushing the Intern. He's going to have to stay all over him. Beretta, obviously, 60 pounds lighter, should be a little bit quicker.
As I was saying before you so rudely interrupted me, as we were talking last week about the identity of Waco, maybe Waco and the Intern are the same guy.
Oh, man.
Did you ever think about that?
I did not.
Yeah, maybe.
Shoulders down, Beretta going for the quick win.
Have you ever seen Waco and the Intern together in the same ring?
You know, I'm honestly not sure.
See, maybe they're the same guy. He doubles his chances for a payday.
Intern's got a bit of a size advantage over Waco.
What?
Waco over Waco. They're not the same size is what I'm saying. They're probably not the same person.
Oh, yes, I thought you were talking about the match in the ring.
Oh, look at that. That's what I try to talk about.
You never talk about the match in the ring.
Big shoulder block from the ropes.
From Brandon Beretta.
Hey, this might do it. No,
and as usual, Drew is wrong.
Just shoving him off.
As usual, Drew is wrong. Do you ever get tired of being wrong? And see, Brandon Beretta's got his name on his back because he's so arrogant and stupid. In case he forgets who he is, he can look in a mirror.
You actually wear clothes with your name on it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Fair enough. Intern sending Beretta into the corner. Beretta getting out of the way.
Well, at least we know he won't use that illegal rocket
launcher.
There
it is. That's probably going to do it. That's the full clip spine buster from Brandon Beretta.
Oh,
gets the 3 over the Intern. Brandon Beretta getting better and better each and every week, each and every episode here in SICW.
Blah, blah, blah.
He's a great tag team competitor, and as we just saw, he is a great singles competitor, getting the job done with the full clip spine buster.
At least he didn't illegally use the rocket launcher and stay in the ring for 25 seconds when you're allowed 5.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, recently in Belleville, Illinois, the Night Train Gary Jackson was the recipient
of a gift.
Of a violent
gift.
A brutal attack at the hands of Attila Khan.
Oh, wow.
Accentuated by the use of the green mist. Of course, the mist is very prevalent in pro wrestling history. Many very famous people, Great Muta amongst others. Kabuki.
Asuka.
We have footage from that, and we're going to take a look now what happened between Gary Jackson
Nagasaki
and Attila Khan in Belleville, Illinois.
Minutes have expired. 5 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am joined by the leader of Devastation Incorporated, the merchant of violence, Stephen E. He is here with Peyton Ayers. Stephen.
I'm here with Peyton Ayers. I am the merchant of violence, Dr. Drew, and I have told everybody for months, I have told everybody for a lot longer than a couple of months that I am here and we are going to take over, and that's what we've done. You've seen the path of destruction that Attila Khan has laid out for everybody. Shut up! You've seen the path of destruction that has been laid out. You've seen what happened in Belleville. Now, let's deal with the consequences.
Well, let's talk about consequences. We just showed the fans what happened between Attila Khan and Gary Jackson in Belleville, Illinois. As a result, Attila Khan has been suspended indefinitely from SICW. This was made official just before we went on the air tonight. Herb Simmons confirmed it.
Dr. Drew.
You said it. Consequences.
Dr. Drew, I knew there were going to be consequences, but let me explain something to you. Nobody mentioned anything about a suspension. That's not going to happen. I'm going to have my attorneys, my investors in the Middle East are not going to be happy with this, and they are going to get attorneys to look into this. Speaking of attorneys, I am going to use the American justice system, Herb Simmons. You have yet to come to the bargaining table. That's right. You have yet to come to the bargaining table, Herb Simmons, and I'm going to purchase SICW. And if you don't show up to the bargaining table, then I will get my attorneys, and my attorneys will force you, because this is America, and it's a free country, and I deserve to be a member of this company right here. I deserve to be an owner of this company, and that's what's going to happen, Dr. Drew. I am going to own this company, and we're going to take it to the next level. I told you what we're going to do. We're taking it to the next level. We are raising ticket prices, so hopefully we can bleed these fools out of here. It's not going to happen. But I tell you what, Dr. Drew, this suspension, it's not going to sit well with me. It's not going to sit well with Peyton Ayers. It's not going to sit well with Devastation Incorporated. And when I get off the phone with my investors and I inform them of what has happened, they, my friend, are going to send me a fat stack of cash to get the best attorney that money can buy. And that's what's going to happen.
Strong words from Stephen E. and Devastation Incorporated. He says Khan won't be suspended. Herb says he is. Stephen E., it seems like that got you a little frazzled.
A little frazzled. I've been on the phone. I've emailed Herb Simmons many times. He has refused. He has absolutely refused to contact me. And now, you heard what I said earlier. I'm going to involve my attorneys. And when my attorneys get involved, they are going to make it a level playing field for everybody, including me and my investors in the Middle East.
Well, I don't know his lawyers, but I know Herb and SICW have their lawyers too. So I don't know. I don't think Stephen E. is going to be purchasing SICW anytime soon, but I hate to deal with the legal eagles that he's probably got in store. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, for the first time, we are going to hear words from Big Joe Helms.
SICW Saturday, August 12th. It's a night of professional wrestling featuring WWE Hall of Famer Tito Santana.
This is Tito Santana. Arriba!
Also on the card, the SICW Tag Team Championship as the challengers, the Big Texan and Bobby D, take on the champions, the LA Hustlers with Lucky P. Larson. It all happens at the Belclaire Fairgrounds. See WWE Hall of Famer Tito Santana, along with a full card of matches. Don't miss this night of in-your-face professional wrestling. Saturday night, August 12th. Get your tickets now at SICW.org or by calling 618-286-4848. SICW. Be there!
Wrestling fans, there's nothing better than barbecue and wrestling. When you're hungry, stop by Mr. Barbecue with 2 locations to serve you in Columbia and Waterloo, Illinois. Great barbecue, cold beverages, and SICW wrestling.
Wrestling fans, I am here with Big Joe Helms. We're going to hear his voice for the very first time. This is a big moment here in SICW. Big Joe, I know you have had a fair share of big moments recently in SICW. As we see the ribs taped up, he was victim at our last show in Belleville to not 1, but 2 vicious K-bombs from Kowalski, and that just got the ball rolling. Joe, the floor is yours, sir. It's a new Joe Helms.
Well, first off, I want everybody to understand that Big Joe Helms has been a man for himself. And as a hired gun, I'm the one that takes care of me. Okay? And as far as ultimatums from that little leprechaun, Marler McDarby, I don't take ultimatums from leprechauns like you. And as far as Lucky P. Larson and Kowalski, you gentlemen have a debt to pay. And the hired gun, Big Joe Helms, is going to collect on you two.
Well, Big Joe, you're on a new path now here in SICW. It starts now. It's time for our next match. You're up, sir.
All right, let's do it.
Big Joe Helms, he's up next. Ladies and gentlemen, this matchup set for one fall, 10-minute time limit. Introducing first, from Turner, Kansas, weighing 225 pounds, Billy Joe Black. His opponent is from Deception Pass, Washington, weighing 310 pounds, Big Joe Helms. There's the bell. The match is underway. Like I said, we've kind of reshuffled the deck here in SICW. We've seen a lot of Joe Helms matches on All-Star Wrestling. None with him in the mindset that he's currently in. And Billy Joe Black we've seen here in recent weeks on All-Star Wrestling. He had an impressive showing a few weeks ago. I do not envy his position today. This Big Joe Helms not only has all of the dangerous, big suplex. Not only does he have all the dangerous tools that he had under the tutelage of Lucky P. Larson, he's got a different mission now. He's motivated in a different way. I don't think that the hired gun Joe Helms was ever really angry with anybody. He was just following the paycheck. Now it's personal. The Joe we've seen up until now has operated, I think, pretty much without emotion. But this Joe, you add a little bit of anger and direction into his violence. And I do not envy any member of the locker room that is tasked with facing Joe Helms in the ring. And look at this. Look at these moves that he's doing. Big power he's able to display while having injured ribs. We don't know. He might have cracked ribs. He might have bruised ribs. He might have broken ribs. I don't know that he's gotten any x-rays. He doesn't seem like the type. Just tape it up and keep going. Oh, Billy Joe Black was starting to mount a little bit of a comeback. Big Joe cut that right off with a pretty brutal clothesline. Look at this. You hate to be Billy Joe Black. I admire all of these younger talents coming in, these newcomers to SICW. What Billy Joe Black didn't know is that I think this Joe Helms is pretty much wrestling with seeing Kowalski or Lucky P. Larson's face on the body of Billy Joe Black. Nicely done. And it's Joe Helms. I fear that he's going to be able to achieve whatever he sets his goal on. If it's a title, everybody's got to look out. He gave Big Texan one of Texan's biggest tests to date, followed up with a mutual show of respect between the two. Back elbow sends Billy Joe Black to the mat. Big Joe Helms, look at that, clutching the midsection. You have to believe there is some residual damage on the ribs. Blows to the face. Oh, he's got it. Is this going to be that choke bomb of his? Yes, it is. You have to imagine that's going to do it. It does indeed. Big Joe Helms. This is a man on a mission, ladies and gentlemen. This is a Joe Helms with his sights recalibrated here in SICW. And today, he is victorious over Billy Joe Black. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now let me head up to the ring to get a few words from Belleville's own Bobby D. Ladies and gentlemen, I am here with Belleville's own Bobby D. Bobby, this past July in Belleville, Illinois, you had a chance to regain your Central States title. However, when you were this close, Sean Vincent grabbed the belt, ran away. You followed chase, leading, unfortunately, to a double countout. What are your thoughts? And, as you see, they still have the Brody Cup.
There's a lot of negative words and thoughts that I can't say on TV, but it wasn't just at the end. Glenn was a pain in the butt throughout that entire match, always sticking his nose in there. And then, like you said, right when I have him where I want him, he runs like a coward. He takes the cup, they take the trophy, they get out of there. He's a coward. I'm not done with him. I will find a way to get back in that ring with him again, and I will take my title and my trophy back.
And you almost made it back to the ring. It was a split second. I thought you had made it, but the referee, in fact, counted both of you out of the ring. I thought you were going to make it back and get a victory. Alas, that was not to be.
You know, even with him just getting counted out, I don't get my title back, so I pursued him, tried to get him back to the ring. He ran like a coward, plain and simple.
You bet. So let's put that aside for just a moment because you are going to have to turn into a bit of a salesman for just a second. One of our favorite shows of the year, this is our third time going back, Citizens Park, Belleville Little Devils, a fundraiser for our local youth, wrestlers, football players, and cheerleaders. Tell us about August the 19th in Citizens Park and why everybody needs to be there.
Yeah, it's the Belleville Little Devils. They're a not-for-profit organization. They help keep kids off the streets, keep them busy playing football, wrestling. I'm one of the wrestling coaches. I'm the head wrestling coach. We got cheerleaders. There's a lot of costs that people don't realize in running an organization. It costs on average $4,000 a month between insurance, equipment, all that kind of stuff. So this is just really something to help keep those programs going and keeping them kids in a good place.
Very cool. Ladies and gentlemen, please help our community August the 19th, Citizens Park, Belleville Little Devils.
And for the first time with us, it's going to be out on the football field as it gets dark. We got the lights that are going to turn on. As long as weather's permitting, then we'll move it inside. But it's going to be a great show.
Absolutely. We hope to see you there. Fans, Bobby, you're in the main event tonight, six-man tag. I know you've got a little bit of unfinished business with Sean Vincent and Glenn Williams. You will have an opportunity to at least dish out a little bit of a beating.
I'm going to get my hands on him and Sean and Glenn as much as I can. That way I can put it in Herb's head to get me back into that title picture.
Well, you hear it, ladies and gentlemen. Bobby, thanks for joining me. We'll see you a little later today in our main event. Folks, we got to take a commercial break. When we come back, it is time for this week's Promoter's Corner.
Wrestling fans, it has been announced that WWE legend Tito Santana will be making his return to SICW Saturday, August 12th, 2023 at the Belle Claire Fairgrounds. Don't miss your opportunity to see this great legend as he returns to SICW. Meet Tito Santana on Saturday, August 12th. Wrestling fans, for all your massage needs, visit the Restorative Massage Center located inside the Sheer Techniques Salon in Troy, Illinois. Masseuse Shauna has been a licensed massage therapist for over 10 years, and she customizes each massage to meet the needs of her clients, performing Swedish deep tissue and trigger point therapy. For all your massage needs, contact Shauna with the Restorative Massage Center.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and it is time to take a trip to this week's Promoter's Corner. Let's go now.
The main event, a one fall with a time limit. Introducing from Los Angeles, California, weighing 323 pounds, Big John Studd. From Omaha, Nebraska, weighing 246 pounds, the Missouri State Champion, Ted Dibiase. Referee Lee Warren.
Big John Studd. He demanded this opportunity, and he has it now against the Missouri State Champion, Ted Dibiase. Studd, 6'9", 300.
People are gonna find out how tough I am now.
Studd says, tell the people you're going to find out how tough I am now. All 323 pounds of him. Hey, you punk, says Studd to Dibiase. Studd has been in verbal war with promoter Sam Muchnick because he hasn't gotten an opportunity in main events yet. He says, you're forcing me into tag matches. You're trying to hide the big stars from me. The stars are running. The Studd misses. That hard smash, what would have been a hard smash if Dibiase had been there. Ted Dibiase. They're calling him the uncrowned world champion.
I told you he's afraid of me.
He's afraid of me, says Big John Studd.
That's why he's walking around the ring looking at Mr. Ted Dibiase.
Yeah, let's have him keep his attention on Mr. Dibiase instead of you and me, Mick.
Ah, you better believe that.
He is awesome, frightening, menacing. Studd forces Dibiase to the ropes. Lee Warren trying to break him up, and once more Dibiase sidesteps the punch of Big John Studd, and Studd glares at Dibiase. Dibiase clenches his fist. He says, if you want a box, I'll go that route. The Missouri State champion, Ted Dibiase. The pressure is on him now after what happened with Harley Race. People like Big John Studd and many others after him, and Dibiase pounds on Studd. Side headlock by Dibiase on Big John. Studd briefly in the hair. Lee Warren right on top of the situation. Studd reaching inside, trying to break up the headlock. That didn't work. Dibiase trying to force Studd forward so that his size isn't as big a difference. Studd trying to squeeze Dibiase. And there it is, the Missouri State title belt. It belongs to Ted Dibiase by virtue of victory over Ken Patera, as Dibiase is just manhandled by Studd, who charges in and misses with that charge. Drop kick by Dibiase, knocks Studd into the corner. Dibiase to the air. Oh, way up in the air, flying head scissors by Dibiase on Studd. Believe me, you have to fly to get up there to get Big John. He's 6'9".
Boy, it was like being on the arch that time.
Oh, and if he'd have missed, he would have landed out about Kings Highway in Lindell. He
Right
would have
at the
landed in
front
the
door.
lobby of the Chase Hotel.
Right there.
Right on top of Ed Merchant or somebody in the Chase Hotel. Look out, Ed. They're taken to the air here in the KPLR studio. It's Ted Dibiase and Big John Studd. You talk about great rivalries. Well, it looks like one is maybe nearing some sort of climax, because Sam Muchnick has finally managed to land Dick Murdoch against King Kong Brody. Talk about big news, and talk about a wild affair that will be. Murdoch's been complaining that Brody is hiding from him, running from him, hiding behind tag team partners like Andre the Giant and Dick the Bruiser. His complaint much the same as Big John Studd. But now Murdoch and Brody can settle it head to head, one-on-one. A main event, Murdoch and Brody, as Studd uses the tights to try and get the shoulders of Dibiase down. Can you imagine what a war that will be? Brody will go through a concrete wall to get a Dick Murdoch. He won't have to do it because they're both going to be inside that ring alone. Murdoch and Brody, this is it. Settle it now, boys. Dick Murdoch and King Kong Brody. It's Dibiase with the side headlock on Big John Studd. You remember that Murdoch and Brody were once a very efficient tag team combination. But Murdoch, he's not the easiest guy in the world to live with. He's ended up with more enemies than friends, I can guarantee you that, in tag team matches. But Brody is one enemy who won't go away. He won't be satisfied until he crushes Murdoch. And now the opportunity is at hand. Flying tackle. Oh, look out, Ted. Flying tackles don't work too well on Big John Studd. Oh, the back rolling cradle might. Try for a pin, and Studd pushes Dibiase away. Oh, Dibiase charged in, and Studd was waiting. Caught him with a blast to the stomach. Dibiase hurled to the ropes by Big John, and he bangs the elbow into the top of Ted Dibiase's head. Dibiase might be a little quicker than Studd, but I'll tell you that Studd can use his head too. He has good ring instincts. Don't forget, he was trained by Killer Kowalski. Studd lifting Dibiase to the air for a tremendous body slam. Ted Dibiase has been rattled by Big John Studd. He tries to line up the back, I guess. He comes up behind Dibiase and slams those meaty forearms into the back of Dibiase.
5 minutes have passed, 15 minutes left.
Studd lifts Dibiase high into the air for the atomic knee drop, slamming the tailbone into his own knee. This could be it for Dibiase, and oh, it was close. Big John Studd nearly polished off Dibiase right there. Studd is ready, and let me tell you, Dibiase may have the battle of his life on his hands right now against Big John. Look at those forearms and biceps on Big John. He's just huge. He's huge all over. I'll tell you, and he's in such good proportion. So well built, I don't think you realize the size of the man until you stand next to him, until you see those huge hands. But the only guy bigger is Andre the Giant. You can see right there, he really dwarfs Ted Dibiase. And Ted's about 6'4", 6'5", comes in around 245 pounds. But Big John Studd, oh, that's something else. He's huge. He's a mountain of a man. Dibiase bridging up. Oh, forearm smash by Studd. Dibiase keeps his balance. Not the second time, though. Studd pounds him back down with legal forearm smashes. Look at that fist clenched right up against the face of Dibiase, pushing the cheek in, twisting the nose. Big John Studd. A little smile on his face. He knows that right now he's in command, that he's shaking Ted Dibiase, and Big John Studd. If he could beat Dibiase, as far as he's concerned, I guess, it's like beating the world champion. He saw that match between Race and Dibiase. And you know what happened between Race and Dibiase has a lot of other wrestlers even hotter on the trail of Race, because they say, boy, he is ready for the picking now. People like Big John Studd, like Dick Murdoch, like King Kong Brody, like Dick the Bruiser, like the Funks, like Jack Briscoe, like Rocky Johnson, like so many more, like Ken Patera. Now, more than ever, the pressure is on Harley Race. Everybody wants a crack at Race. Dusty Rhodes is after him. I'll tell you, the pressure on Race is immense, but the pressure on Ted Dibiase is just as much. Especially right now, because he's in with one of the biggest and the meanest of them all, Big John Studd. There's a beautiful bridge by Dibiase. Oh, what a bridge against Studd by Dibiase. Trying to pull the hands off his chin, trying to turn his way out. Dibiase slipping the head through. An elbow smash to the stomach. Another elbow smash to the stomach. Here comes Dibiase. Flying tackle. Down goes Studd. Dibiase managed to drop him. Dibiase ducks away. Oh, the drop kick missed. The drop kick by Ted Dibiase missed. Big John Studd outmaneuvered Dibiase. Flying elbow drop to the back by Big John. He covers Dibiase, count of 1. At 2, Dibiase gets away, but Studd's right back on top of him. Big John Studd in control against Ted Dibiase. Dibiase had gotten out of trouble for a second, but Studd, showing he's more than just size, managed to elude the drop kick, and Dibiase took a hard spill when he missed that drop kick. Studd pulling back on Dibiase's head. Lee Warren checking. It's not a strangle. It's dangerously close, but it's not. You can see the pressure up underneath the jaw of Dibiase. Dibiase having the blood really cut off to his head, the way his head is twisted, and the way his neck is being squeezed by Big John Studd, a former collegiate basketball star. He's filled out quite a bit since those days, though. Constant weight work. He's a dedicated weightlifter. Almost every day he's in that gym pumping iron. Big John has the power, no question about that. Dibiase trying to force his way to his feet. Studd leaning on him, trying to wear Dibiase down. That's something Studd can do against almost any opponent. Dibiase to his feet, the crowd watching intently. Dibiase with a blast to the stomach. Dibiase and Studd pound on each other. Dibiase hits the ropes. Throws a forearm smash over the top, a slash to the throat. Studd gouges the eyes of Ted Dibiase. Studd whips Dibiase to the rope. Up, look out, jackknife, cradle. This could be it. But the shoulders are free, and Studd manages to lift those shoulders and at the same time bang his boot into the head of Ted Dibiase. Studd kicks Dibiase away, buying himself some time to get over onto his knees. Both men cautious. Dibiase knows he's in a battle. No room for error, no margin for mistake between Studd and Dibiase.
10 minutes have elapsed, 10 minutes left.
Cautiously, very cautiously, Dibiase reaches out. Studd daring him to lock hands. He does. Studd charges in with a knee lift to the stomach. An elbow smash to the neck, and Dibiase shaken again. Big John Studd, more than a handful so far for the Missouri State champion. Studd pounds on the back of Ted Dibiase. Remember, Studd's favorite is that hanging backbreaker. Dibiase pushes the ropes. Oh, he comes off backwards, that back exposed, and Studd bangs home the forearm to the lower back of Ted Dibiase. And I think the crowd here is starting to sense that Dibiase is really getting into trouble. Backbreaker. The backbreaker by Big John Studd. He's manhandling the Missouri champion. Dibiase got that shoulder up. He's in trouble. He's got to turn this thing around if he can, because Studd is slowly but surely wearing him down. Oh, the whip is reversed. Studd hits the corner. Dibiase, here's his chance. He hurls Studd across the ring, charges. Oh, and misses. He went right through the ropes and hit the steel ring post. Dibiase trying a flying tackle in the corner. Studd got out of the way, and Dibiase hit the ring post. Oh, he's in trouble now, if he's ever been in trouble in his life. Big John Studd got out of the way, and Dibiase hit the ring post. Studd grabs Dibiase, pulling him up onto the apron, suspending him backwards, and slams that forearm into Ted Dibiase. The Missouri State Champion kicked off the apron by massive John Studd. The crowd boos at Big John, but Dibiase is in real trouble now, and I have to tell you, so far Studd is backing up his word. Dibiase up on the apron. Studd grabs him there. Again, bends him backwards and slams that forearm into the chest. A knee into the back. Dibiase hung up on the ropes, and Studd battering Dibiase. Studd just battering Dibiase. Lee Warren trying to control Big John Studd. The count is 20. And Ted Dibiase may need it all. In fact, he may still be out there at 20. In that case, Big John Studd's going to be the winner. Dibiase up on his knees now. He's standing, he's holding that shoulder that hit the ring post. Studd right there. Look out. Dibiase grabs Studd's leg. And he slams Studd's leg down across the apron. Again, Dibiase slamming the leg of Studd over the apron. He's tying him up around that steel ring post. And he rams the knee of Big John Studd into the steel ring post. Dibiase now Studd in trouble. That knee always vulnerable no matter how big you are. And Dibiase tears into Studd. Down goes Big John. Dibiase, the leg snap, yanking out that hamstring. Big John Studd, the hamstring snapped by Ted Dibiase after his knee was slammed into the ring post. The body drop into the knee, and you know what Dibiase is thinking about here. He's thinking about the figure 4 leg lock. Again, Dibiase steps inside and snaps the leg. Now even the shins, the tendons coming down the front of the knee, aching on Big John Studd. He spins, going for the figure 4, but he's kicked away and out of the ring by Big John Studd. Talk about power with one leg. Studd kicked Dibiase right out of the ring. Studd crawling through the ropes. Big John Studd going out of the ring and after Ted Dibiase. He slams Dibiase into a chair. Big John Studd slamming Dibiase into a chair outside the ring, and again trying to ram him into another chair. Studd and Dibiase battling outside the ring. We have a Donnybrook. It's Studd and Dibiase outside the ring. Studd slammed headfirst into the apron. Dibiase grabbed the chair. Dibiase grabbed the chair. Oh, and he clobbers Studd over the head with the chair. Studd still won't quit. Both men outside the ring. The match is being stopped. They're outside the ring 20 seconds. They're trying to restore order. Studd slammed into the steps. Big John, look out!
Come on, Studd, break it up.
Studd has slammed Dibiase into the ring post and then into the press table. Studd battering Dibiase outside the ring. And I have to tell you, Dibiase, he's trying to go out after Studd. He's going with a chair out towards the dressing room. The referees, the guards, the police trying to restrain him. Lee Warren, both men counted out.
Been counted out. A draw.
Both counted out. We'll make it official and hear from Mickey Garagiola, who'll be going into the ring and give us an official call. What a Donnybrook. The Missouri State title belt will be returned to Ted Dibiase. But I'll tell you, that was a war. Here's Mickey.
Referee Lee Warren declares this match a draw.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was this week's Promoter's Corner, and I am now joined by Big Nasty Glenn Williams And your Central States title, your Canadian hero, Sean Vincent. 2 of the 3 men that will be on one side of the 6-man tag team main event.
Oh, Bobby, Bobby, Bobby. What happened, Bobby? I beat you for this. I gave you your rematch. And then you begged for another rematch. And I told you, Bobby, if you didn't win, you weren't going to get another shot at this title as long as I was champion. And sure enough, what happened? Tell them what happened.
You ran away with the title and got counted out on purpose.
What happened is that Bobby didn't win. You didn't get pinned. You didn't submit. So that makes you champ. Yeah, he's still the champ.
So run away, excuse me. I did not run away. Bobby was terrified. I could see it in his eyes. He didn't have it in him. He didn't have the eyes of a champion. So I walked away when there's so many other better challenges ahead of me than you, Bobby, like Boomerang. Yeah.
Come on.
That's right.
Be serious.
Come on, Boomerang is an A-list player. He can take a shot at this, but let's talk about something else, about how I made a winner out of Glenn Williams.
With help from this belt, by the way.
Hey, that's right. I'm a winner. You guys have to admit it. You have to call me a winner. And you got to call him champ, like we've been saying. Hey, you know what? Now that we're past Bobby, I think it only makes sense. You've got an empty shoulder over here. Maybe, just maybe, Sean should beat Texan. You ever thought about that?
I have.
Sean, 2-belt Sean.
Well, Texan is going to be on the opposite side of the ring in tonight's main event.
That's right. Howdy, partner. Hey, Texan, how you doing, mate? You know what? He's right. This shoulder is feeling a little empty. And that heavyweight classic championship looked damn good on this shoulder. Yeah. And how about the tag team titles, too?
Might as well just get all the gold.
All the gold, baby.
Coming to Canada.
All right, well, I'm not sure about that, but you're going to get your chance to prove a point against the Big Texan and Bobby D in just a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to take a commercial break. When we come back, it's time for your TV main event 6-man tag team match right after this.
Wrestling fans, you looking for the best in daily lunch specials and great menu food items? Look no further than Layla's Roadhouse, 440 Falling Springs Road in Cahokia Heights, Illinois. That's right, a family sit-down dining and always great specials. Also has the best pizza in the area. Wrestling fans, SICW Wrestling has been providing fundraising opportunities for several decades for local communities and nonprofit organizations. If your community or organization is in need of a great fundraising opportunity, SICW Professional Wrestling is the way to go. For more information or to schedule an event, call 618-286-4848 or 618-719-1034. We'll bring the matches to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for your TV main event set for one fall with TV time remaining. It is a 6-man tag team match, introducing first at a combined weight of 768 pounds. First, from Cairo, Egypt, Peyton Ayers. Next, from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, your Central States champion, Sean Vincent. And from Gary, Indiana, Big Nasty, Glenn Williams. They are accompanied to the ring by Stephen E., the Merchant of Violence, and Lucky P is guarding the cup. Their opponents at a combined weight of 881 pounds. First, from Belleville, Illinois, Bobby D. Next, from Indianapolis, Indiana, Flash Flanagan. And their partner from Gun Barrel, Texas, is our reigning SICW Central States Classic Wrestling Champion, the Big Texan. Referee Denny Thomas. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a treat. I am joined in commentary by the one and only, the AIWF World Heavyweight Champion, the Golden Boy, Greg Anthony. Greg, welcome to All-Star Wrestling.
Absolutely. I'm very excited for this match. It's a six-man tag action. 6 guys that conceivably could challenge me for the World Heavyweight title, and that's why I'm out here right now. I want to see what kind of competition SICW has, and these are 6 of the best right here.
On a little bit of a surveillance mission here.
Absolutely. You know, as a world champion, you always have to be prepared. You always have to be looking at the next guy, and the next guy, and that's exactly what I'm doing right here.
Absolutely, and you showed last week here on All-Star Wrestling that you're very capable of that. It was your in-ring debut here in SICW. You took on Waco. I think Waco was a little more of a challenge than you expected, but you got the job done. You solved the puzzle, and you got it done.
Yeah, in the record books, it doesn't say how long or how hard the championship title match was or the event itself, but it just says W, right?
Yes, sir.
And I got the W, and that's what it counts.
Certainly did.
Waco is someone that might be a little underestimated sometimes. He's a tough character.
Absolutely. The bell is sounded, and we're getting started with the 2 biggest men from each team. The Big Texan going one-on-one here with Peyton Ayers. Peyton Ayers very rarely gives up a weight advantage, but in this case, he's given up about 50 pounds to the Big Texan.
And that's saying something right there. When you're as big as Peyton Ayers is, and then you're still giving up 50 pounds, that's an amazing stat right there.
You got it. Now, we're still learning about you, Mr. Anthony, and I have to say, when you look at guys like this, this is no knock. You're not the tallest individual in the wrestling business. When you see guys like Peyton Ayers and the Big Texan, I mean, how do you even formulate game plans against people that you're giving up such a big size advantage to?
Well,
I know you've been defending your title all across the world, so obviously you've got game plans for everybody.
Well, like I said, 23 years I've been doing this. This is not my first rodeo. When I get a guy, oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
When you get a big guy like that does stuff like that, it hurts. Luckily, I was born tough as nails. And the fact is, the bigger they are, the harder they fall sometimes. And sometimes it's hard to get them to fall, but I digress.
Very well said. Texan holding Ayers wide open for a boot to the gut from Bobby D. Bobby D, of course, is still the rightful owner of the Bruiser Brody Cup, which you now see being held, guarded, if you will, by Lucky P. Larson.
You think Lucky P would know better that, possession is 9/10 of the law, right?
Yeah. I've learned that Lucky P very rarely knows better about anything. Very nice hammerlock there from Bobby D. Didn't save him from the back elbows from Peyton Ayers. Side headlock brings Bobby back into the opposing corner. Tag to Big Nasty. Glenn Williams, a man riding a wave of momentum who just recently got his very first singles victory here in SICW.
Can I smell Big Nasty from here?
That's what that is.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, that's what that is.
It's like cabbage and rice. I'm not really sure.
There's Flash Flanagan. You see, that instantly made Glenn reconsider if he wanted to be in the ring or not. Yeah, Sean Vincent, he's acting awfully brave.
Yeah, Sean might want to rethink this. Flash is actually one of my mentors in this business.
Oh, wow.
And he beat the living hell out of me for years.
So I know you're tough, dangerous, and kind of crazy.
Exactly.
Now, Flash Flanagan's story here in SICW, and I'm sure you've seen this happen in lots of places. When he arrived here, fans hated him. He hated everybody. He was angry. He was violent. He was going against our fan favorites. But he's been here 10, 11, 12 years, slowly earning the respect of the fans. And now he's our most decorated champ. He's held our title 5 times. That's more than any other man. So it's been a very interesting journey for Flash Flanagan. And he does the same kind of stuff that people used to hate when he would do it to their heroes, but now they love it. He's kept that same attitude.
Do they have yoga in Canada? Because I think Sean Vincent wasn't prepared for this.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. He just smacked him in the face. Beautifully done. Flash, he's been as violent as anybody. He's thrown fireballs. He's got the famous kendo stick, so these rule breakers, these villains need to understand. Flash Flanagan's been there. He knows all these tricks. He can take it and give it back to you.
Absolutely.
I don't want to call him a coward. I said he cowardly ran away with the Central States title to save him from losing it to Bobby D recently in Belleville. He says, I'm not a coward, but the way he scurries away tells a different story.
I wonder if he can scurry back to Canada. Well, they got Peyton Ayers down.
Yeah, we just saw
that's a big accomplishment.
Bobby
right
D.
there.
It was a nice waist lock takeover, getting the bigger man down to the mat. That's the amateur background of Bobby D. coming into play here. Of course, we talked about, he's the wrestling coach for a local youth wrestling group, our Belleville Little Devils. Oh, man, just running into a brick wall that is Peyton Ayers, sends Bobby just crashing to the mat. That switched the momentum quickly.
A brick wall attached to an A train.
Yes, sir. Bobby D is actually one of our more well-rounded competitors. He can brawl, he can fly, and at the end of the day, he's our most accomplished amateur wrestler. So if things aren't going his way, he'll grab you and put you on the mat. He won't let you up. Elbows.
Well, he's showing he can fire up right there. Here we go. Shoots him off.
Oh, man, you heard that one. Learning a little bit from his brother-in-law, the Big Texan. Of course, Texan been using that lariat to great success recently, and I think maybe he's been trying to teach Bobby D a little something about the lariat.
Yeah, Big Texan, obviously a throwback to guys like Stan Hansen and body slamming the big Ayers.
Second to get it. No, Ayers with the outside shoulder out at 2. We just recently had a large list of legends in here in May, and it was, in fact, the Lariat, Stan Hansen, and JBL were both here. They both put over Big Texan and sort of gave him their okay and their blessing to use that Lariat.
Well, that's a huge thing for him.
He's been using it to great success. Nice double teaming here. Flash Flanagan, Big Texan working together. That's what they have to do. Usually it's the opposite side that double, triple teams. Stephen E. on the outside. You might as well be fighting 4 or 5 people.
I think Sean Vincent's realized he just keeps making mistake after mistake.
You hate to see it because you want to see competitors go to battle and see who the better man is, but I will give him credit. There is something to
Peyton Ayers going to the eyes there.
Yeah.
No matter how tough a man is, there ain't much you can do with the eyes right there.
Absolutely.
We know how tough Flash is, but once they get a hold of an eyeball, it's game over.
To quote Dwight Schrute from The Office, the eyes are the groin of the face. And it worked. It's got Flash Flanagan stunned on the outside of the ring.
I'm more of a Frazier man myself.
I understand. And that's got a reboot or coming back to TV. So
I'm excited.
It's a man, obviously, of great intellect as well, the Golden Boy. Yeah, nicely done. Maybe that's why Sean Vincent didn't want anything to do with this. He foresee that might have been where he ended up.
Flash Flanagan with a chop on the outside. That takes me back to seeing those videos of Puerto Rico when he was massacring the roster in Puerto Rico.
And actually, it's kind of dangerous. Flash Flanagan has just returned from a trip to Puerto Rico that he says has rejuvenated him and has reawoken something in him that was sleeping. So that's not good for any of his opponents.
Yeah, that's a scary thought.
That is a very scary thought.
The man's violent enough, and then you send him back to Puerto Rico where he can get refreshed.
He's said many times here, he's tried to leave that version of him in the past because he didn't like who he was turning into.
Yeah. Well,
Peyton Ayers, this is a man with great potential. He's still relatively new here in the business, but rising by leaps and bounds.
Ricky Morton.
Yes, sir. Flash Flanagan making the desperate dive into the corner, tags the classic wrestling champion. Big Texan has been the man on top of the mountain here in SICW ever since winning the title from Attila Khan in a Texas death match.
Like getting hit with a 20-pound hand with those fists. Suplex.
Beautiful suplex. That makes my heart skip a beat every time. The strength it takes. I don't care how big you are.
Can we check the Richter scale on that one? Because I think that was up there.
I tell you what. Stephen E. look of concern on his face. His man is not in the position that he wants him. Peyton Ayers getting out of the way. Texan crashing into the top turnbuckle. Glenn Williams in the ring. We saw an interesting interaction between these two men a few months ago where Glenn Williams thought he was training himself to be as effective with the lariat as Texan. We learned quickly that was not the case. Oh, hold on now.
Wait a minute.
Hold on. See, that's what they got to do. Look at. Oh no! It backfired. Big Texan. That's the lariat crushing big nasty Glenn Williams. Is that going to do it? Yes, it will, ladies and gentlemen. Flash Flanagan had Peyton Ayers. Bobby D had Sean Vincent taken care of. It is the Classic Wrestling Champion with the devastating lariat that he's used to great success, getting the win, the pin over Glenn Williams. And there's your winning team. We're sending Glenn packing, giving him a little help to the outside. There's your winners, ladies and gentlemen. Bobby D, Flash Flanagan, your Classic Champion, the Big Texan, victorious in your main event of All-Star Wrestling. Golden Boy, what'd you think?
Well, I think one thing I need to do is duck the lariat. And Flash Flanagan, you know, he's pointing over here. He knows me, and he and I have a long history together, and maybe we'll write another chapter one day. We'll have to see.
There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, 3 of our top stars victorious in the ring. Thank you to the AIWF World Heavyweight Champion, Greg Anthony, for joining us today. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for today's All-Star Wrestling. We'll see you right here next week. For Lucky P, for Greg Anthony, I'm Drew Ebenhouse. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you next time.